Hi, this is Nancy, and welcome back to Scathingly Brilliant Idea. I'm going to share with you my November plans for this year. Why November? Because I am on sabbatical the month of November. When I tell my friends that I'm doing this, they are curious, well, why do you get a sabbatical? Because I'm lucky enough to work for a company that every 5 years gives its managing directors and partners a month off to just refresh, regroup, and allow others in the firm to take over for my responsibilities. So I am taking the month off. I'm going to share with you some of the things I'm planning because, yes, by my nature, I cannot just take a month off without doing some planning. And so I'm going to show you a special book I put together or a journal I put together for sabbatical planning. And I'm going to also ink up some pens and show you a little bit of the live planning I'm doing in my everyday planner as I wrap up the year. I'm probably going to be chatting throughout this, so hopefully this will be somewhat entertaining as well as informative. So this is my sabbatical booklet journal. What I have done is I have decided to use this Ro-Biki. It's not a TN because it's a little narrower than a standard TN, but it is fits in a TN itself. And I'm going to be taking it with me in my Galen leather traveler's notebook. There were three different kinds I purchased at the show. This was at the San Francisco Pen Show that I purchased this. It's a Yamamoto branded product. And this is a 4.5 millimeter called Reticle squared notebook, which just means that there are these little marker, let's see if you can see, these little very faint red triangles that mark off every 5 squares of this 4.5 millimeter square grid. I also purchased one that is plain and one that is dot grid, but I decided to pick this one up. So I decorated it with this tape from this was a special gold sticker tape that I used in my little label maker for. However, it does not stick. I got 2 rolls of it. It was very inexpensive. It's off brand. This is a Make ID um, product, but this is off brand, and I ended up gluing it down. But this is my 2025 November sabbatical cover. Now inside, I have used some printables from the Well Appointed Desk. I am a member of her Patreon, and this was the November printable. So I just printed this out. This is the week size that I printed out. And as you can see, the width of this notebook is pretty similar to the weeks. It's just taller. It's as tall as a TN. And let me just go ahead and show you for comparison. This is my TN, and this is an actual Midori insert. And then this is how it fits on top of it. So it is about, what is that? A little less than an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch narrower. But still plenty of space for me to write in this. So at the front, I put in the calendar, and I used a little decoration to fill in some of the empty space at the top and bottom. And then I plan on writing an entry every day in here, kind of at the end of the day as a reflection, because I'm still doing my morning pages in my regular journal that I'm using, the Plans by Just Scribble. And I am at the end, then I have um, an itinerary for a trip we're taking. We're going to Southern California, Orange County, for a week, leaving Wednesday. And then I also had to come up with a sabbatical list, right, of all the things I want to accomplish. Now, I know I'm not going to accomplish all these things, but I just had them floating around in my head, and I decided to put them down. And it will probably be good for some grins at the end of the month, because I mean, here we are already. Today is Monday, and I started Saturday was my first day off, and I had so many things to do on Saturday, so many things to do yesterday, and even today now it's like noon, and I'm just sitting down to film this, and this was something I had on my Saturday list. So I'm just have to moderate my expectations and not realize that I'm not going to get everything done. But what I'm doing here is I just am making this entry. I'm using some deco, writing some observations and thoughts down at the end of the day. And then I am stamping the time. And then I decided for some fun to go ahead and try my hand at filling in this Midori stamp, which is it's waterproof, with these paints. So I have these Ink Tense watercolor ink pencils from Derwent, and I am just taking it and lightly putting it inside the stamp itself, and then taking a water pen and um, wetting that to fill in that space, and it gives a little small watercolor effect. So this paper, as you can see, it's very well behaved. So this is the stamp, and it's a permanent ink stamp, and it doesn't, I mean, it ghosts a little bit, but no bleed through and nothing that's going to interfere with my using it. And the same with these watercolors. So I feel pretty good about using that. The stickers I have on this layout are some that I printed out using my printer and my Silhouette. I got these from I Love to Print, and they're nice, just fall, kind of cozy ambiance designs. I've been using those a lot in my planners, and I decided to use that on this spread. So I'm going to use a page a day, and then also at the back have a couple of pages laid out for the California trip. So I haven't put everything in there yet because, it's going to be personal. But the thing that I wanted to let you know is I'm going to the ink swatch appointment on Thursday, the 6th, at M. Lovewell in their downtown Santa Ana location from 2 to 3:30. So I'm going to get to try out some inks there, and I'm looking forward to that. I will be in the area during Fountain Pen Day. So I think we're going up to LA on Friday. I'm going to try to go to Flax Pen and Paper, but I don't want to make the whole trip about just, fountain pens and stationery. We're going to be meeting up with friends. We used to live there. We're going to meeting up with friends and, driving through old neighborhoods and all that fun stuff. And on Sunday, the 9th, is my birthday. I turned 65. So this was kind of my present to myself. And then I'm retiring in May. So this trip I've been planning to kind of have as a special commemoration. And that's why I picked the month of November to take off for my sabbatical as well. So I am looking forward to that. Now, I won't read to you all of the things on here, and there's really nothing private if you happen to catch what I actually wrote. But the general categories I have written on the side here that I want to do some reflecting, some reading, some planning, and some learning, some playing, some organizing, some cleaning, and some decorating, getting ready for the holidays. So that's what I have planned for my sabbatical. And this is my special notebook that I'm going to track and take with me when I go to California. I'm also going to take my TN with me. I haven't cleaned this out and prepped it. I'm not going to be taking along everything that's currently in here, but I will be bringing this insert and probably a new blank one. I'm ready for a new blank one to make this a little bit more manageable. And then the other thing I will bring with me, I do not have in here. I thought I did. Well, anyway, it's my Bible. I've been playing around with different planners and things, and I wanted to bring, oh, here it is, my plotter Bible size. So I did go ahead and get the printed weeklies and monthlies for next year when I purchased this. And so I am setting up I had the monthlies, and so I set up a couple of extra ones for November and December. And then I made some weeklies for these next 2 weeks to take with me and keep as a kind of a schedule. So there is a little bit of duplication, but this is going to be kind of like a memory piece. So I wanted to have the schedule here. But this has turned out to be handy to have with me to kind of keep just track of appointments and things instead of having to try to enter it on my phone on the fly and then it being in the wrong calendar. It's going to be on my personal calendar, which I don't check, versus my work calendar, but I will still be checking on my work computer at least through May. So this has been working out really well. And then just jotting down notes and things. So in my plotter, I have pretty much every kind of paper there is and a couple of different inserts. And then I have this plastic zip folder, to keep loose things in. I did buy some blue paper. Brad at Pen Addict seems to love the blue paper, and it's kind of cool to have something different stand out. And then this pen I've been using, because this is a very slim pen holder, I have been using this E95S from Pilot that I got this summer. And I just have it inked with Shinkai right now. I can always switch it out with my Pilot capless, but because it does fit in there, it's a little snugger, but it does still fit in there too. If I decide I want to go with a capless, which I keep with my Galen leather. So that is one of the things I am also going to be taking with me on my trip and continuing my tryout of how I'm going to do my 2026 layout. So I will have some time to play with that and test that out. Um, so let's go through some of the rest of the things. So to make this, um, and actually to make the inserts for the homemade inserts, I've been having a lot of fun with let me get this stuff out of the way. This um, Alamore stamp, Days of the Week stamp, because they make nice and tiny little days of the week. This has been a fun thing to have. They just pop off. So you just like take your thumb and pull it off. And there's like little markers on the side here. Of course, I made mistakes already. That's okay. But this is a very cream colored paper. Let me show it in comparison to something else. So in comparison to my plans by just Scribble, this is very yellow compared to the Midori insert I have. It's very yellow too, although this Midori insert is quite white. See, for comparison. But that's not going to bother me for this. But this correction tape, getting back to the what I started to go down this path for, this wiper cream tape is in the 5mm is what I use to fix some mistakes I made on this already, and it blends pretty well. So like here I wrote planning twice. I guess a Freudian slip. I wanted to forget I was supposed to play on sabbatical, but fortunately several of the things still matched. I just was the two ends I had to make one big Y for, and I think that blends in really well. You can't hardly even see that I did that. So anyway, that is a little bit about my sabbatical planner. I also wanted to give you an overview of how I'm going to finish. Oh, no, sorry. I'm not very organized on this, but I don't really want to redo it. So I'm just going to chat around. So some of the lettering I used here, I got from Happy Planner. I was able to pull these soft colors from here. And then these scenes are actually from a roll of, well, I guess it's it's not washi tape, but it's like pet tape, but it's matte pet tape. So I thought that kind of fit the bill for that. So that is, I promise, that's it. What I am going to do next is kind of I'm going to try filming this and I may end up cutting it, but what I wanted to do for the month of November is set it up today. Finally, it's the 3rd of November. I found these old stickers from my Happy Planner stash. They have lots of big letterings if you get the books that were meant for the big Happy Planner, which is at 8.5 by 11. So I am setting the tone for November. I'm going to enjoy every day and do what I love. Do minimal. I don't really use the monthlies on this much anymore because I'm trying these other things, but I just did a little bit of monthly just to add some color to the page. I am using, for my theme at the beginning of the month, I'm using these Planything sticker books that I got probably 3 years ago, but I'm still using them. They have really unique designs and are good for seasonal things. She is based in Amsterdam, so there are a lot of things that have meaning for, her local area, but I still use them. They still are very nice. So I've kind of flipped to a couple of pages that have the fall themes on them. And I am next going to be setting up my kind of currently page. So this open spread following the month in the plans by Just Scribble is open, and I've been using this space for a currently. So if I flip back to, I'll show you what I did for. So this is what I did for October, and I also used her planner for that too. So this is from her Halloween themed season stuff, and then I just made a visual out of it, and then put in some things. So, and I kept track this past month. I kept track of watching, listening, creating, and planning. Categories I switch up sometimes month to month, but unfortunately, this is that Tomoe River paper, and so there's a lot of ghosting that happened on this page from, using pens that had ink that wasn't compatible with it. So I'm going to set up this. I have pulled aside some washi, and these are some of the washi I'm going to coordinate with the colors from the stickers in the sticker book I have. Some are designs. I don't know that I'm using the white. I think that got in there by mistake. But I've got some grid things. I like ginghams, so I've got those. Let me pull that up a little bit for you. I have these little wavy, I don't know, brown bubbles. Bubbles with different accents on it. So that's going to do well with it as well. And then this is another kind of a pet tape. It's a plastic washi tape that has just some brown tone rectangles on it. And this has a gold that picks up on the gold in some of the leaves. And then this brown, this solid brown, well, it's not solid, it's got stripes in it, is another accent. And then just smaller grid chocolate brown with white. So those are going to be my accents, and I'm going to set that up. And then this is going to be the first week. So here we are on the 3rd, and this I'm going to set up as well. And then always on the week following the first page, following the weekly overview setup, I always put as a reflections page. So up here, I fill it out at the end of the month, and I reflect back on the month. And I have been using for that these categories from Moxie Life. So they're kind of on their reflections thing. So it's kind of like wins, what's working, what's not working, lessons, and adjustments. the repetition of having to put the same things down as not working is kind of motivational. I don't know that it's going to happen this week, but a lot of what I have lapsed in is getting back into a good healthy eating and exercising routine. I did so much travel over the last 2 months that I really lost my rhythm, the routines and the habits that kind of kept me grounded on that. Getting ready to go on another trip to, someplace that will have a somewhat disruptive pattern. We're not going to be overly busy in California, but we've got some few things penciled in that are solid, but lots of free time as well. So, there's no reason I can't, get more walking in, for example, and, just being out and about and doing something different. So, anyway, that's what I'm going to do on this page. I usually decorate that with the same theme that I'm using for here. And then I go into the dailies, and the dailies are where I have been doing my morning pages. For all the purists out there, this is not 3 pages. It's not 8.5 by 11 or A4 or whatever you're supposed to be using, but I am using it as my morning pages for now. It is what I go to first thing in the morning. It's part of my ritual with my coffee. And I just jot down lots of times. It's like maybe weird dreams that I remembered that I just wanted to get down on paper. It's stuff I'm just processing and need to get out of my head. I do minimal decorating on this because I like to keep most of it writing. And sometimes the decorating is just as simple as, like taking one of my tombos, or I guess these are artezas that I have laid out with colors that will complement, the spread that I have. Sometimes it's just a matter of like drawing a line across the top. Okay, so this is what I set up for my currently. I'm going to track what I'm reading, watching, listening, and playing. And then for this first week, I usually use this section to just write down some gratitude things. And I don't think I'm going to be using this at all, or I will probably fill out the focus and the priorities. And here I have been kind of keeping track of daily things and whatnot. I, because I'm not sure how I'm going to set up this week, I'm leaving that blank for now. But I also have my reflection set up for to complete the end of next week. Keep track of my wins, working, not working, lessons, and adjustments. So that's it for the setup for this week. I will keep you posted. I'm not sure yet whether I am going to be filming anything while I'm out on my trip or celebrations. I may just post some things on my stories. Not exactly sure yet. I'm going to kind of keep that open, but I will be checking in this month. As you can see, I've got a lot of exciting things I've got in store. So hopefully, I'll be able to be a little more visible this month than the last month or so. But then again, I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on myself to have to record every life. I just really want to focus on life, and to the extent that it's something I end up doing and feeling like sharing, I will do that. If not, then it's probably going to be pretty quiet. Talk to you later. Bye.